here we are in this healing course, and we're gonna have to address the sort of trauma. Ooh. Now, here's a really touchy subject that's difficult, but it's important to acknowledge before we move on to the next steps. What secrets are you keeping? Yeah, I know you're like, ooh. Now, this applies to your trauma and how the sort of trauma is affecting you. There are always secrets there, which is why you still have it in place, why you haven't removed it yet. Hello. Now, in order to start this discussion, I'll share some of my secrets because that's what I do. Now, to give you an example to start you, before I really got into serious healing and actually moving on really, because before I thought, oh, I have a therapist once a week, I could do that for the rest of my life. That's crazy. And yeah, I'm fine. I'm handling it. But my big secret that I didn't tell anybody, literally anyone, even my therapist, was that I was a self-abuser. I beat the living crap out of myself. And now I wasn't a self-mutilator in the most common term of cutting, which is like a very, very common thing in this world of trauma and recovery. I was more of a smacker or a room destroyer. Like from 13 on, probably once a year, I would destroy my room. Like go on a rampage, freak out, and literally destroy it. Now that's a pretty huge telltale sign that somebody is pierced with a sort of trauma. Yeah, but I didn't tell anybody. That was this huge secret. And then when I had failings in my life and I didn't do, things didn't go my way, or I had a relationship that I was actually in and didn't want to be in, I would do things where I beat myself up. I would smack myself in the face, scratch myself. Like now, in hindsight, because I'm way past the steps, I look back at that, and instead of thinking like, oh God, she's crazy, I look at that like, oh, you sweetie, you just didn't have the tools. You didn't know what to do next, and you were keeping it a secret. And that's a huge step in the process of like, that's a really hard thing to say. I mean, I was on the cover of magazines. I was making gobs of money, like as a fashion model, as an actress, as a writer. And here I was, secretly, I hated myself. And I thought I was stupid and ugly and I was miserable. Until I really did the healing work. Until literally it was the sort of trauma is what did it. And I saw that vision. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And you remove it. And you heal the wound, and then you have it. I'm like, it completely changed my life. And now I can share with you that I was keeping a huge secret. And it wasn't until I really acknowledged that secret and then started listening to other people who had the same issues that I really dealt with my healing. Meaning I really removed the sort of trauma. Because before, I'm just wounded. And I can go to every therapist office in the country and like, yeah, with my little sword. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I have this issue and blah, 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 but we're not talking about this. I'm not gonna bring this up. Anyway, I'm cranky about it. I didn't get that job, or I did get that job and I hate the director, or like whatever. But no, we're not gonna talk about this. So I ask you during this huge beginning step, what secrets are you keeping? Now, I really recommend you tell your therapist and you work with this in your support group and your class. I'm not so sure you do it in a class setting, perhaps with a counselor or therapist. But for you on your own, work on it in your workbook. Like really look at it. Like what secrets are you keeping? What are you afraid to tell? How has this affected you, your experiences? And what are you doing to yourself because of it? This no longer is about whoever hurt you or whatever hurt you. This is about what you're doing to yourself because of it. Ooh, that's a big one. So, number one rule, Don't judge yourself. We've all been through it. I mean, hello, I just told you a huge secret, and it's like, oh my goodness. And now that's so not a part of my life anymore. And I'm a living example and proof to you that you can get to the place that it's not part of your life anymore. But in order to get there, you gotta tell that secret. Ooh, ooh. You know, purge it, and we're gonna remove it, and then you're gonna have it. La la la. So, you gotta face those fears, tell those secrets. Ready?